Realize it was
Charlotte
Taroball.
Terrible.
That's so funny. What the fuck? I love that.
So, how long have you been cosplaying for, and a little bit about yourself?
I'll gladly do that. Why? Because I'm very egotistical and I love speaking about myself. So, I've been cosplaying for roughly around 6 years. I started like the first time I put on a cosplay with a wig and took proper photos to do like on a specific cosplay account, which is still the account that I use to this day. It was I think October 2018. My first ever cosplay was a cosplay of Bakugo. I didn't have makeup on. It was just a wig and a pink hoodie. That's it. And I went to my first ever convention like 2 weeks after in the same cosplay. And ever since then, like, I started obviously really small. I literally only had, I think, 2 to 3 cosplays, but now I have too many to even count. And obviously recently, as people know this, I just made my first ever properly handmade cosplay. With Chaz's help, so it was Chaz's sewing machine and patterning, because I'm not very smart. But it's pretty cool. I think I would say my journey in between has just been like going to conventions. It's like, despite my idol group, my cosplay journey has just been, I started and I'm still doing it to this day. And obviously I've learned a lot. I know to style wigs now. I think I just randomly learned one day. I would say, I learned this skill over time, but no, literally I remember just styling a wig, but like, I know how to do this now. I'm so smart, guys. And the turning point for me cosplay wise was definitely starting the idol group, which started originally back in, I want to say June or May last year, because it started with me and the 2 other old group members wanting to do Romeo and Cinderella on stage, and then it just kind of evolved from that. And obviously back in December of last year, I was with Chaz, by the way. We were cosplaying Toy Chica and Mangle. We were doing like a little event on the island. I texted the people prior being like, hey, can my idol group debut here? I didn't get a response because obviously it was nearing Christmas time, and the people who run the convention own a shop, so they're really busy. So I got approached by the woman who does the convention, and she just went, yeah, feel free to perform. And that's how we got our debut date. We debuted back in May 4th. I want to say
May
5th.
4th,
Yeah, this year.
Oh, Sam.
Yeah, typically how the idol group popped off.
So, how do you guys organize to get together?
So we obviously we have a time tree, which is technically an app where you can schedule
It's
stuff.
a shared calendar.
Yeah, it's a shared calendar. So I'll look at days that we're all free, or times when we're all free on a said day, and I'll be like, hey, do you guys want to practice on this day? If so, when? And then obviously, given a time and a date, we'll go to the location and practice. It's just all depends, because we used to just practice every Sunday. But obviously, as Chaz's work schedule is really up and down right now, it's nearing Christmas, so understandable. Everyone's a bit all over the place when it comes nearing Christmas time, so we're having to figure out stuff as we go currently, but we're getting there. Of course.
I guess like I've been like proper officially cosplaying for about 5-6 years since before COVID. But when I was little, there's so many mugs and so many pictures of me dressing up as like Disney princesses and all that stuff. I don't know. I think I just kind of got into it because I thought it was cool and I wanted to be different and I liked anime. I went to a lot of conventions when I was really little. I think my first convention I went to when I was 6, but I was always way too scared to cosplay at them. So the more and more I went to, I think the first time I went to a convention in cosplay was 2021, so quite not that long ago. But like every single time I went to conventions, saw all these cosplayers, and I was like, that's so cool, I want to do that, but I'm socially awkward. So the journey of going to conventions and cosplaying has been like a big confidence boost for me. I cosplayed for years on a private account, which I still have, because I was so scared to post it to anyone. But I went to Insomnia in March this year, and I met a lot of my idols. They kind of just convinced me to make a public account and just go for it, and that's where we are now.
Okay. Being technical, I've technically cosplayed for 8 years.
Here she goes.
But I did have an intermission between all that where I thought I was a normal girl who just wanted to do normal life things because obviously school, not great. So I technically did restart cosplaying till maybe like 2017, and it was very awkward because I had a cosplay in mind and it didn't go well. So my friend came and picked me up. I was like, who do I do? So I did Harley Quinn because that was my first full-blown cosplay with a wig, which was really embarrassing. This Suicide Squad one. I did have the original Harley Quinn though. I had the the Arkham Asylum one. I had been cosplaying for a while. My dad also got me into cosplaying. He's, as much as I don't like my dad, he is the actual reason why we started all these conventions and cosplays, and he got me to the way I was now. I started out with just wigs he'd buy me and like certain costumes he'd buy me, because on the island he used to be a manager at a bar, and this bar used to have like costume parties. So my dad used to buy me costumes all the time, what I wanted, like Harley Quinn, Cat Noir, Ladybug from Miraculous Ladybug, all that. So, you know, but my first proper one with a wig was technically Cat Noir from Miraculous Ladybug, which is so bad. But we used to do little Christmas events and stuff, so kind of got into it from that. But yeah, that's kind of where I've come to now. I started my TikTok back when Musical.ly was about. I was cosplaying on there. I was doing like special effects makeup, making my OCs, you know, cosplaying from Heathers, even though I was a literal child. I shouldn't have been cosplaying from that, but you know, who was to stop me back then? And you know, it's got me to the place I am now. And obviously meeting Gabe has been a bigger confidence as well.
Yes.
Joining the other group, bigger confidence. You know, I used to just have Danganronpa cosplayers before I met Gabe, and then opened up to a new moment in my life where I was like, oh, I need to stop doing Danganronpa. But yeah, we're still on that journey.
I've got, I think, about 14 Danganronpa cosplays.
I have about.
I don't have that many. Excuse me.
I've got so many.
I have about 20 of them. It's so awkward.
Yeah, I've
but
seen.
yeah, and from that as well, since meeting Gabe, I started my sewing stuff as well. He encouraged me to start sewing my own stuff, because he's like, oh, we can't buy this costume, it looks like poo. So then I have to make it, you know, that's how it goes. So, you know, yeah, I'm still building myself up from being a really cringy Danganronpa cosplayer to being a very amazing cosplayer. I've only been to very little conventions on the island, but we plan to go to MCM eventually with our handmade costumes, don't we, Gibbs?
The biggest one I've been to is Insomnia, but other than
Insomnia's
that, it was
huge.
Like, Insomnia is huge, and it's the last one. They're not doing it again. The company went bust.
I know. I'm so annoyed that I never
Wait, what
go to
happened
it.
But their sponsors like basically dropped out, and the company went bust.
What, Portsmouth gone?
I don't know. There was an article on it. I'll send it to you.
Is this Portsmouth gone?
No,
There was meant to be an
Insomnia.
Insomnia in September, but
It's up in it's up north somewhere. Whatever it is.
yeah, Birmingham way.
Yeah, Birmingham.
That was fun.
Oh, okay.
5-hour drive.
Do you count old Halloween costumes as cosplays?
I mean, I would, yeah.
Yeah, I'd say I would.
Yeah.
Did you ever wear something weird for Halloween that didn't fit the spooky vibes?
Every year.
I was
Yeah.
Jeff the Killer once.
I think the least spookiest one I did was genuinely, I just went out in my Miraculous Ladybug costume and just called it a day.
Cute.
I was like 13, wearing like a 10-year-old's costume. It fit me though, so it was fine. But this year I did Maria from Silent Hill with help from Gabe, because I'm not allowed to cosplay characters he likes without me asking him first. Because I work, my manager, she loves cosplay. Her sister cosplays. She's a really big cosplayer. So basically, my manager lets me do like charity events in cosplay, or like certain events in cosplay at work, so I don't have to be on till. I can just, you know, get on with my day in cosplay. It's actually happening on Saturday coming up, where I have to wear a Christmas cosplay costume.
Wonderful.
Yeah,
You're stealing for that.
Did you
Partially
get
mine.
paid for it?
I don't get paid extra, but she put me on longer hours now, so then I can get more money for having my costume on, which is pretty good, because I love being paid for standing in cosplay and telling people Merry Christmas. I can't wait for that. My first ever event that I did there was before we performed, and I did Minori to there, and she took a bunch of like photography photos for me while I was in the shop.
Have you had any funny experiences when cosplaying or anything out of the ordinary?
I have stories
Yeah, a lot
to
of
tell that.
creeps.
Funny.
Yeah.
What?
A lot of creeps.
If you guys never had the creeps at conventions?
Oh God, Jesus. Yeah.
I'd say like
convention
I haven't
creep.
had as many as people make it out to be, but you do still get the odd few.
Oh yeah.
I haven't had a convention creep, but I've had one, a creep from work before. I can tell that story though. That's a pretty great story. Basically, this guy, when I was in Minori, I met him. He was really nice, and he was talking about games with me, and he was like, "You remind me of a game character." I was like, "Oh, thanks." And I was like, "Oh, it is a game. I'm from Project Sekai." He was like, "I don't know what that is. I'm gonna name a character after you though, because you look exactly like her." So every time I'm in cosplay at work, he conveniently sees me, and he's like, "I named my character after you." But he also is weird to my manager as well. He asked her if she has any unseen tattoos.
Oh.
Oh.
Considering the fact that I'm 19, this man must be about like 80 something. Like he's really weird.
Oh no! I mean, I think like it's always fun when you're getting public transport to a convention.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, always. You always
The
get the looks.
reactions.
I love
Yeah.
the look. I like walking to work in cosplay because people go, "Oh my god, is there a carnival on that I didn't know about?" I'm like, "No, I'm going to work. Can't you see my lanyard, guys?"
Do you ever like hide your cosplay and just put it on at the convention though?
Nah,
I've never done
Sometimes
that.
because my cosplay's so much, I can't. I like sometimes I
Yeah.
throw it over the top, but like no.
I feel rogue it because I'm like, if someone's gonna say something, at least it's gonna make me feel a bit better. Like, if someone finds me weird, then good.
Do you guys get the emo comments?
Yes.
Oh, all the time.
Yeah.
Oh my god, you're so emo.
Yeah.
Like, shut up. And it's always like the basic normie people as well. Like, well,
It's
like,
always the
puffy
roadmen, you know,
jacket.
wearing their hood wrench jumpers and stuff. Like,
Mm.
The best one I've had is I've had a roadman hit on me in full blown cosplay before. He's been like, "I babe, give me your number, yeah? You fucking wealthy." I'm like, "Shut up, please leave me alone, please. I'm just trying to have some peace, brother."
I do always love like meeting other cosplayers at conventions, though. It's always so wholesome.
Most definitely. That's one of my
It's
favorite parts
wholesome
about
when
it.
you meet an old person in cosplay because they always end up being like, "Oh my god, you look so beautiful." Like, thanks, I love you.
I've had it when I was getting the train to a Brighton convention once, and there was this old woman sat like next to us, and she was so happy to just be around us. She was so excited just looking at our cosplays.
Oh
my
It
god,
was so
Gabe.
fun.
Gabe, Miriam.
Yes, Miriam. Sorry, I met this woman on the train when back from Anime Pop like last week, and she was so nice. She talked to me about how she used to do, or and she still currently does, and teaches this traditional Japanese style of dance. So obviously, I was talking about my idol group to her, and she was so sweet about it. She was so cool.
Oh, it's me.
Real.
I got pictures of all you guys on the slide.
Keep the Danganronpa cosplay, guys.
Yeah.
Speaking of the devil.
You couldn't fit anything in that bag, I swear.
Oh my god.
What has been your favorite cosplay versus your most popular cosplay?
Oh,
Oh,
guys.
actually, I don't know what my favorite one is. I like all of
Is
them.
it, I don't know.
I'm
Mine's kind
tired.
of like this. Mine's kind of the most popular and my favorite. I don't know, to be honest. I've got so many that I love. My most popular is definitely my Junko cosplay. That for some reason always gets the most amount of views. But I also think I really love it because if you look at pictures from when I did Junko 5 years ago compared to now, the improvement is amazing.
Yeah.
So how did you improve?
I learned how to style wigs, and I like
Real.
That's
what I
such
do
a
with
main
cosplay.
factor,
I never do
honestly.
like the base character. I always accessorize it to be more me.
Mm.
So I'll add like different like makeup styles. I'll add my own accessories, etc. I don't care if it's like 2020 sort of style.
Real.
Like, let me be me.
Real.
And I feel like I become more comfortable with it, and just the wig styling helps so much. Like, look at the crisp wig styling in that picture right there.
It's beautiful. I love it. My most popular cosplay is a 2021 Miyu Iruma
Alright.
cosplay. And then my second most popular is a Kokichi one, except I was wearing a skirt in it, so you know that's there. Okay, my favorite's Minori, Luca, and probably Anya because I loved my Anya cosplay so much. I thought I looked so much like her.
So skibbity.
It was skibbity.
So skibbity. Mine, guys, this is my biggest flex yet. My most popular, I would say Maria, because obviously she's known worldwide to the point where
Worldwide.
even people I don't know have been like, oh, I know that Maria cosplay. And I'm like, who are you, huh? But also the fact that my Jolene cosplay on TikTok, it's my most liked video on there. But my personal favorite, I'm the most indecisive person. To this day, I will always love my Roxanne cosplay because she means so much to me, and I won't let Roxanne go. I don't care if FNAF security breach is becoming really, really irrelevant. I do not care. I will love Roxanne to the day I die, and I will always love my cosplay of her, and I will always make sure that that's the first ever cosplay that I would say performed in properly, because when I was hosting a cosplay competition back in 2022, during when the judges were deciding, there was literally nothing going on stage, and I was like, okay, well, I learned this dance, which was Calamari Incantation from Splatoon, and I think that was the first time I ever properly performed on a stage in a cosplay. Obviously, it's different now since I am a performer, I'm an idol, but yeah, most definitely Roxanne. She'll always be my favorite.
Our first cosplay together, me and Gabe, was Roxanne and Chica.
Yeah, and then we did a whole security breach gang to one of the eliminated carnivals on the island.
So for stuff like your wigs, what do you use?
I use the Gabriel.
That's right.
You use me. I style the majority of Jasmine's wigs for her.
I get Gabe to restart all my wigs when I do
Yeah,
them.
yeah, every time. I'm like, every time I go around hers.
I think the only wigs that I've actually styled recently that were like styled by me is both Shinji, who isn't finished, and Minori, and even then Gabe did the bangs for Minori.
And I also put the glitter in the wig, as
Yep.
usual. But yeah, every time any one of my friends needs a wig styled, I'll always be there because I'm the one with the wig head. I'm the one with all the stuff for it.
I have to use a Squishmallow on
You have
old
to use a
light
Squishmallow.
stick stand.
I have the actual thing. The things that I use, I normally either get wigs from either AliExpress or Amazon because it's just easier and cost
No,
effective,
same.
which is fair enough. And then my technique, glued hairlines. I'm just a natural talent at glued hairlines. I did one once and then just decided, yeah, I'm good at it. I guess make a glued hairline is pretty easy, guys. All I used was hot glue and PVA glue and just put wefts down and covered it in PVA glue. Wait for it to dry, and then
Show that
shoved
to
it
your
on the wall.
Fugo.
Hey, Fugo was rushed. Okay, and he will get his time to
He'll get a
shine one
restyle.
day. He will. Hairspray wise, got to be glued. I think every cosplayer does that. And recently, I've been loving to put eyeshadow to shade wigs and glitter in the said wigs. Like you can see it in most current cosplays, like my Irie, like my Jolene. Like it's become my new obsession. I don't know. I love doing
Something
it
about
with
glitter
wigs.
and wigs though is just beautiful. It's perfect.
I know.
Yeah, if you use hairspray, it like keeps it in there for ages as well. And if you use like a light enough wig, so say like you've got a blonde wig, you want to add a shadow root to it, it will actually dye the wefts in the end. So once you wash it out, it'll still be there.
Where do you get your materials from?
I get mine. I usually get mine same place as Gabe, AliExpress or like other places. I do try and do Vinted as well, just so then like I'm not using like AliExpress and stuff because I know AliExpress isn't really that good. And then like outfit wise, if I'm making a costume, I'll go to our.
She meant we have a fabric store on the island that we use.
We have two, but Gabe doesn't go to the other one because it's nearer me. If I'm buying a costume again, I usually just go on Vinted or AliExpress.
Yeah.
Or Amazon, depending on the cosplay.
Amazon sometimes they're just like extremely expensive for no reason as well though.
I know, I ordered a Shinji costume on there and it was like £30 and then I refunded it because I sent it to the wrong address by accident, which was my ex's address. And then I went on AliExpress and I found one on sale, the same Shinji costume for £8. I was like, I'm just getting that then.
I really want to get into like making cosplays. I only really make like accessories and like props and stuff. Yeah. But it's like I don't trust myself with sewing.
Making props
it's not as hard as
difficult.
Yeah, making props is literally more difficult than sewing. Take it from someone who's like you. I more make props than I do sewing cosplays. Hence why my first ever handmade cosplay was literally only made like a week and a half ago.
Fair enough.
You know, sewing wise, you do end up getting the nick for it quite quickly. When I was teaching Gabe how to sew so he could do the rest of his costume on his own, because I thought, well, you know, it's his costume, let him do it. It literally only took me like a few trial and errors to get him to learn how to use it. If you have a sewing machine, a beginner's one, it's so easy. Don't do a Gabe though and think, oh, do you know what I'll do before knowing how to sew? Don't do a Gabe and go, I'll just hot glue this together and hope for the best. Don't do that.
I didn't do that. What do you mean? My Roxanne cosplay is held together by
Roxanne is held together by hot glue. It annoys me. Props wise, it depends what you're making, to be fair.
Yeah.
Like, prop can be easy. Like if you're making like a book or something, or if you're making like a little like something for your costume, it's easy. But when you like me decide to make the Spear of Longinus from Evangelion, you realise how much time, effort, and money that takes. I brought a whole roll of duct tape thinking it would be enough, and it's just not. I had to buy 2 whole rolls.
I was gonna say for like swords and stuff, and actually like good thing to use, which I've used before, Pringle cans.
I know that.
I realised they were so small. If you just get a Pringle can, it's
I know that if you're making like a really big sword, you should always use a bottle cap so you can like detach it, which is pretty good. I've always considered that if I ever did decide to make a sword or something, but I prefer to just buy it online, like the Yamato.
Yeah, the Yamato. The only prop that I remember making very vividly is the Silent Hill 3 pipe for Chaz
me.
for Anime Pop last year, and all it is made out of a wrapping paper tube and toilet roll tubes and paint.
Oh,
That's
and also as well, it's heavy duty. It's like so good.
it is. I had to reinforce the middle of it because it did crease whilst I was trying to make it with just like an extra piece of cardboard, which probably was from an old box somewhere. But other than that, yeah, pretty easy and cost effective. I didn't spend a dime on making that prop because I made it 5 days before the convention because I was like, I'm gonna have my fake gun with me, and I feel bad if Chaz is left with nothing. And it lives in my room, right in the corner.
I let Gabe it because I didn't trust myself placing it somewhere without breaking it.
Yeah, it lives behind my door. I also made Mangle's extra head from FNAF. Obviously, Chaz knows this because Chaz used it as a prop at one point, which is, once again, it was just cardboard and paint and a lot of hot glue, which is stuff I already had on hand, and it has a polystyrene ball as one of its eyes, which I already had from a past cosplay, and some old wires from, like, old chargers that didn't work anymore.
Do you last minute make your stuff, or do you like to plan it out?
I prefer to plan it out, but sometimes me and Gabe just end up like making things real last minute.
It truly depends.
I always try to like plan something out and have a schedule, but then it just never goes to plan and end up doing the night before.
Oh hell yeah.
So Wiz does musical theatre, and Charlie and Gabriel do idol performing. What advice do you have for performances?
Advice? Don't wing it. That's a lot of what the idols did.
Chaz, you suck.
My advice for performing in cosplay and getting into character: always make sure you know your character well enough before you step on that stage. Make sure that that character, you know them by the back of your hand, even if they're nothing like how you are. You just gotta channel the inner person. Like me with Minori, I channel my inner Minori. I make sure that I'm super excitable and whatnot. You just need to know your character. You need to make sure that you're enjoying yourself, you're having fun, it's perfect. Not if it's perfect, but you got to make sure that you know your character. You got to make sure you know how they'd be and what they would be like if they did fumble and stuff like that, if they carry on, or if they would make up something and laugh about it or something like that. You just got to make sure that you know your character well enough. You need to make sure that you know your performance well enough. Just make sure that you do your best. Don't fear, because we all mess up, blah blah blah. Anyway, any methods for fake confidence? Don't fake it. Be confident. You look amazing. You're gonna feel amazing. Performing is an amazing thing. I always say this to my niece: you know you mess up, but not everyone else does. So don't ever feel afraid. Don't hide away. Don't think, oh my god, everyone knows I failed, because they don't. You are perfect the way you are. Your performance is perfect the way it is. And if you know your little mistakes, so what? No one else does. You should never fake your confidence. Make sure that you are confident enough to do it.
Woo!
I do that with Minori. I'll mess up with Minori and I'll be like, oh my god, what do I do? And then I'm like, I'm just cool like that.
Giggle it off. That's what I do. I giggle it off really bad. Anyway, my turn. What do you like to see when you're judging cosplay competitions and people on stage? What are you looking for? Me, this is actually a great question for me. Chaz knows this. I think everyone knows this. When I enter into cosplay competitions, when I do performances, I make sure that stage is mine for that amount of time. I strut on, I say it with confidence, and I make sure that they know what they're up against. Give it your all. Literally, if I see someone who's very just not interested, instantly off the bat, I'll be like, oh, well, they obviously don't want to be here. Yeah, it's like a bit iffy. But if I see someone who struts on that stage with the utmost confidence, who, with Chaz's advice, knows the character, they know what they're doing, instant A star in my books, because that's how I act, and I think it's amazing to see. It really gets you into the moment. I mean, as we know, I'm one of the most egotistical people you will ever meet. I'm just saying that proudly because it's true. When I went as Mako, performed the School Logic at Anime Pop Ryan, I literally won an award for being most photogenic because I went on that stage. I knew what I was doing, and I went off with just beautiful. All I'm saying, me and Meteor, we're gonna pep talk by me, like I did with the other two cosplayers I was in the line with. A, confidence. B, know your place on that stage. Know that stage is yours. And C, no, the other two. Exactly that, because it's what I do, and I think it's just a goated technique. Oh, for idols, I'm an idol, guys. How often do you practice and work as a team? How do you practice? Okay, as I said, normally we will always try and practice either weekly, or we do do 2 or 3 practices in a week. As I said, it all depends when and where people are free. I'm telling you this now. If you practice only 3 times, 2 to 3 times before your performance, don't. I'm telling you now from the bottom of my heart, do not, because there is a high chance there will be many mistakes, because obviously practice does indeed make perfect. So the more you practice as a group, the better you will look on stage, the better stage presence you will have, and the more confidence you will get from doing that. Because obviously I have experience in performing, so does Chaz. She has a diploma in it. I just do it for fun. I'm silly like that. I am telling you now, you could tell with our debut, like I love our debut, but obviously there were mistakes and everything. It was our first time performing as a group, and the last 2 songs, the last 2 songs were rushed. And you could tell because we didn't take time and we didn't practice them the most, because we kept putting it off when we really should have just knuckled it down first, get the hardest out of the way, and then focus more on the easier ones. So that is just my main advice, is to just practice as often as you can. And if you don't have the space, say you guys can't afford a studio, or your living rooms aren't big enough, or you guys don't have a garden, I would recommend a public park when it's not raining, or like anywhere that's like sheltered. I would even, like, currently right now, my idols, we practice outside of a leisure center because they have this like bricked part which is sheltered, which is the perfect size for all 5 of us. Just go out there, find somewhere. If you can find a place like a church hall, I know they do hires and like they let people do their practicing there for cheap, or just find anywhere with space. And if you can't afford it, that's fine. You can just find somewhere for free. As I said, a public park. I know a lot of idols who don't have the money do practice in parks, because I've seen videos of upcoming idols do it. So it's nothing to be ashamed of. If you can't afford it, that's fine. Who cares? As long as you guys are getting that practicing and like going together as a team. And there is one thing I'm really harsh on when it comes to my own idol group, is formations. Now, as we know in dance, obviously you're moving around. It isn't just, oh, you're standing still dancing. No, specifically in idol culture and idol dance, they will move around in different formations. And specifically in Momo Jump, which is the unit that we're focusing on, they have a W formation where 2 on the outer corners will always be back. There will be someone in the middle, which is the center part, and then 2 other people who are nearer the front. And I always tell my idols this: there is almost never a straight line when performing. It's either the W formation or an inverted W. And that's another thing I really knock on their heads. So that's pretty much it. Being an idol, pretty fun. I know a lot of it because it's almost
Also,
been...
to just quickly add to that as well, if you don't have space to perform, I found at the time when my room was quite small and there was a lot in the way, I would find performing it on my bed with the arm movements. As long as you get the arm movements and remember the leg movements, you'll find it a lot easier. It's so easy to just learn the arms, practice on your bed, and then get up at some point and try and do it with your legs. If you can't, just figure something out.
So, how many practices have you done for Taroball?
Oh, I want to say
I would say we've done
already
about 50.
50.
15.
Oh.
15.
around, yeah.
Around that, we've done a lot of
Wow.
performances, whether it be like 2 idols on their own together, or whether a full group. We've had 1 full group so far, which went really well.
Okay, you're gonna be nervous no matter what, I'd say.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you will always be nervous. I still even get it. Every time I go on stage, I'm always gonna be nervous. You've kind of got to like channel that energy into your performance to make it more like exciting, more fun. Like, yes, you'll have people watching you, but they're all there to support you. So don't feel like you're going to be judged or anything, because as said multiple times, this convention's going to be no. Taroball is going to be like a safe, comfortable space for everyone. I believe that. We've seen the community, we've seen how they've reacted. Everyone's really hyped for this, and everyone seems to be really nice. So just go out there and have fun. That's all I can really say. Because if you're not having fun, then no one else is going to have fun.
How do you spot a bad performance to a good performance?
Yeah, I'd say there's no such thing as a bad performance. I'd say there's like specs that can make it. I don't want to use the wrong words. I don't want to say worse or anything, but like if you're like overly nervous, you're not prepared, etc., it's not going to be as good. So, like Gabe said, practice, 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 practice. Because the more you practice, the more confident you're going to be, the more comfortable you're going to be with your material. You're going to know it by the back of your hand, and that's going to be able to make it easy for you to perform and everything. I just say with good performances, you can clearly tell when those people have practiced, when they've rehearsed, they know what they're doing. They know what they're gonna do. You just need to practice. That's really it. Yeah.
So with that as well, for me personally, since doing performing arts in college and getting my diploma, there's never going to be a bad performance. There's always going to be good aspects of a performance. So everyone should always feel, always look for your strong suits in a performance. But for me personally, being a judge now as well, I'd say it doesn't necessarily make it a bad performance, but not so well done for performance. You can tell they don't seem confident in themselves. They don't seem confident in what they're doing. And a good performance, you can see they're putting that energy in. They know what they're doing. They're confident on what they're doing. And this goes with saying as well, my niece has been a problem to it. I've been a problem to it as well. The idol group's been a problem to it too. So all I say is if you want to make sure your performance is amazingly eye-catching, just make sure again, practice, practice, practice. It's so important to make sure that you just know what you're doing. And if you mess up, just carry on. I mean, this is what we got told in college all the time. If you mess up, no one else can know. Just go about your day, basically. We were just talking about what makes a good and bad performance, but I was saying how there's no bad
I'm really
performance.
excited to see all the performances at Taroball.
Oh.
I'm very excited too.
Woo.
I'm very excited to see myself.
I'm super excited for Ramiel to perform as well, because we haven't actually had a full-blown proper performance like we have since our debut. We haven't had a full-blown all-group performance where everything's planned and gone well.
I haven't actually hosted a cosplay competition before, so how would you like it to be structured?
My turn. My turn. Sorry, I've hosted 2 cosplay competitions. Ever since FanTC started going again because COVID hit, they had 1 convention. One thing is that it needs to be fast. It does just need to be. They come on stage, will ask 2 questions, or the host will ask 2 questions. They give a pose, and then they'll give a pose. Obviously, the judges need to see them. When they go on stage, make sure that the contestant is by the judges and the host on the other side, so the judges can see the cosplayer to their entirety. So when they ask the questions, normally at FanTC last year, we got the contestant to just spin around a little bit, show the judges, pose, and then walk off. That's pretty much how it is. The host will say their name, say the cosplayer they're cosplaying, no, the character
Their name and
they're
their
cosplaying.
cosplay.
That's technically it. Obviously, there's categories that we've already sorted out, and obviously, when the cosplay competitions, it depends on us as the judges. We'll decide who, and then obviously we'll tell the host, and then the host will tell the people, and then prize-wise.
So for the competitions, cosplay competition and art competition winners will be announced at the end of the cosplay competition. Gaming competition winners will be at the end of the gaming competition. Winners will get to go up on stage or collect their goodie bag at the Taroball table if they missed out or if they're too shy. We will have a big red carpet going from the stage through to the audience for the cosplay competition, or as I like to call it, our cosplay catwalk.
Yeah, so we'll have something like that where they'll just, obviously the host will say the cosplayer's name and the character they're cosplaying. They'll come on stage, pose, and then walk down the catwalk. And obviously that also means the judges can see the cosplay from another angle. So obviously they'll pose, which means we'll actually see them, and then obviously they'll walk down, which also means we'll see more. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Have we got a little table on the floor area for people to come up to and just sign up?
Oh yeah, cosplay sign up area. That's what we're gonna need.
Throughout the day until the gaming session, which I believe is at 1:30, you'll be able to sign up for the cosplay show and for gaming competitions, which will be at the Taroball table by the entrance.
So we'll have 2 ring lights on a normal color side to side, and obviously we'll have my sunset lamp. I'll just put it on white because it's not like a full white. It has a pink tone to it. It's a very nice Nice color. I love it. And obviously we'll dim it down a little bit so it's not right in the eyes, and we'll have the sunset lamp.
And then my ring light as well. If we put it on the rainbow setting, it's got the same like lighting as the ring light.
And so that will sort out
If I
stage
could
lighting.
get
Obviously, at Taroball, we're all about supporting smaller businesses and getting people experience. We'll be having a student photographer coming in to take pictures of cosplayers with consent, of course. You can check out their social media over here.